As I call to order the July 2022 meeting of the Escambia County School Board. Whether you're joining us via our live stream or in the audience, we appreciate your interest in the education of the students of Escambia County. I ask that you silence your cell phones at this time. I remind you that if you wish to speak to either agenda item at the public hearing or policy changes at the end of the public forum, you must complete a speaker form request found on the table at the rear of the room and forward it to Ms. Dwelly right here at the front table, or Ms. Buswell, one or the other there. So just bring in the Ms. Buswell there. It is the board's practice to pull items from the consent agenda when someone asks to speak to them. The consent agenda items include curriculum, instruction, finance, human resources, and operations. You must submit your speaker form prior to the approval of the consent agenda. This meeting was properly advertised in the Pensacola News Journal on July 5th, 2022. Legal notice number 5316881. It is the tradition of the Escambia County School Board to begin our meeting with an invocation or a motivation moment, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. This month, it's Mr. Fesco, District 2, will lead us.
If you'll please rise with me. Prior to the school board meeting, we were all presented with a letter from a parent who's here in the audience. And in recognition of this letter, I'd like to ask everyone to please have a moment of silence or silent prayer in the honor of Joshua Creaser. If you will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay, I just want to mention for our guests and viewers on the stream tonight, we will be using a new process with our meeting tonight where we will not be using this board no more. So it's going fully electronic. So if you see us stop at times, if we have to, but tonight will be the grand availing of the new system. So hopefully it'll go well. At this time, we will move to the adoption agenda. Mr. Superintendent, are there any additions or deletions to your recommended agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there are. We have a number this evening. Under Section 6, proposed additions or revisions to school district rules. First reading, delete item B, changes to school board policy, Chapter 4 instruction. Add item C, changes to school board policy, Chapter 4 instruction. Under Section 24, consent finance purchasing, add item Q, agreement with Quaver Ed Software and Services. Add item R, annual agreement Blackboard Software and Services. Under Section 31, consent operations facilities planning miscellaneous, add item D, resolution authorizing the reclassification of surplus property on 7040 Jefferson Avenue. Under Section 38, consent operations protection services, add item A, agreement between the School Board of Escambia County, Florida and Escambia County, Florida Sheriff's Office for the School Resource Officer Program. Under Section 42, items from the Superintendent, employee discipline, add items A, B, and C. All three are recommendations for employee suspension without pay. And under Section 43, items from the Superintendent other, add item A, recommendation for employee return to work. And that concludes the additions and deletions.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. State statutes and school board rules require the changes made to the agenda after publication be based on finding a good cause determined by the person designated to preside over the meeting and stated in the record. Finding in good cause. Is there any objection from any board member to the additions or deletions? Paul? No problems? Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to adopt agenda as amended for the good cause at this meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt the amended agenda for this meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and we will vote the new way. So that won't, it should pop on our screens, right? Okay. Takes us a little bit to get used to this. I see somebody got a box. I'm waiting on mine.
Maybe I need to go back. Okay.
Okay. I'm finished.
Okay. The chair still hasn't got a prompt box yet. Huh? Yeah. Okay, that's all right. We knew we were going to have to, maybe me up here, Rodney.
Try opening your agenda.
That might be it.
The wrong agenda. Go back.
That's it's
The regular.
19th.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. All right, now we got it. Okay. Superintendent, you can read it off the board, the screen? Maybe.
Motion carries 4-0, I think.
All right, there we go. We'll get plenty of practice tonight. Okay. Next, moving into committee and departmental reports, we have the PTA presentation.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Gamble, and I'm honored to serve as the current president of ECC PTA. Thank you for allowing me the time to share some exciting news with you. Escambia County Council PTA-PTSA has been an active volunteer organization in Escambia County for many years. As partners with you, the Escambia County School District, we have cultivated and provided support for thousands of PTA-PTSA volunteers throughout the years. We continue to strive to be effective in our community by helping build the connection between students and families, school staff and administration, and our community. We stand ready to support our schools in the upcoming school year. As a kickoff to the new school year, ECC PTA is excited to announce that our 2022 leadership training will be held at Pensacola State College on Saturday, August 13. Each of you have been invited, as well as principals and assistant principals and others within the district. Our training is a unique opportunity for local volunteer leaders from all specialty areas to expand their knowledge, network with other nonprofits, and to grow their own community of support for free. We will be offering a variety of classes that include information for nonprofit presidents, secretaries, treasurers, administrators, and more. There will be a vendor fair where attendees can obtain information on different fundraisers and services available in our community. For more information and to follow along and to register, please follow the ECC PTA Facebook page or navigate to the ECC PTA website. We all hope to see you there. In closing, I would like to also announce that 5 of the ECC PTA board members, including myself, are heading to Orlando Thursday, well, we'll be there coming Thursday, for the Florida PTA Leadership Convention. We will be bringing back much information to share at our August training. Thank you for this time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
may I say it's delightful to see Ms. Gamble back with us in the room. She was here for hundreds of meetings before this. So we appreciate you taking on this role.
Thank you, Mr. Slayton.
I concur. It was good to see you there.
Okay. We will now begin public forum. The purpose of public forum is to give members of the public the opportunity to address the school board on any matter of concern, particularly regarding the education and administration of our schools. In this setting, we as board members are not compelled to answer questions or respond to you, and typically would not engage in a back and forth dialogue in this venue. However, this board and the superintendent will note your contact information for a response if appropriate. As always, we invite you to contact any of us by phone or email for follow-up. A list of our meeting times and locations is posted on the Escambia County School District website. Speakers must adhere to the guidelines printed on the back of the speaker form. On the form, please be sure to indicate whether your intention to speak at the public forum or a specific item on tonight's agenda. Please direct your comments to the chair. You are to be respectful as you address the board. You're also asked to use titles, not individual names. Personal attacks against school board members, superintendent, staff, and employees will not be tolerated. If you fail to follow these guidelines, you'll be warned by the chair and subject to removal if violations continue. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Ms. Odom will serve as a parliamentarian. Ms. Buswell is our timekeeper, and we will start the timer with your opening remarks. The buzzer will sound when your time has elapsed. When the timer sounds, please bring your comments to close as quickly as possible. The first speaker is Krisher Ida. Did I get the name right?
Kreiser.
Kreiser, okay.
Very nervous.
Well,
I don't know if you can see that. It says, violence, stop, hit and run for Joshua and others. And a car, because hit and run is a car.
if you'll pull that microphone a little bit closer to your face there too, you get a chance. Okay.
And I used to work for Okaloosa County Schools, and I was very PTA minded, but my son is 44 who got killed. But this is what I have to say. Presentation to the Escambia County School Board. I am here today as a mother who lost her son, Joshua, on December 30th, 2022, to a hit-and-run accident. This remains an unsolved crime. Our local media is addressing crisis in the classroom. What we see in our community are crises like suicide, gun violence, drug abuse, bullying, and the pandemic, not to mention just a few. We know that all of these affect mental health in our schools. The tragedy of hit-and-run accidents and careless driving are rarely addressed. A car is a weapon when used carelessly. I would like to see one Wednesday a year to become a recognition day for victims and families of tragic events. Since my son's death, I have tried to bring awareness to this tragedy. His favorite color was maroon, so I would like to call this Maroon Wednesday, a school district-wide safety, education, and traumatic event support group day. Agenda should include safety education. This would involve going into the high schools to address future drivers regarding distracted driving, following the laws and rules of the road, driving under the influence, etc. At the elementary school level, once a year, the schools would say thank you for crossing guards and other adults who provide safety and teach students an awareness of the potential danger around their surroundings. Support groups. There are specific support groups in our community and schools for many issues, but victims of tragedies have nothing. They don't fit well in existing groups. I would like to see a support group established in the schools for victims of traumatic events. These groups should be led by individuals trained to lead discussion groups and be able to coordinate visiting guest speakers for the group meeting and outreach at the school-wide assemblies. In summary, the overall goal is to emphasize vehicular safety as drivers and pedestrians while using the school-wide forum to identify victims of tragic events and provide them a small group forum to work through their personal trauma while giving support to those similarly affected. And I'm trying to do this all of Florida, the whole state of Florida, and we're first.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your time.
I will say, and I'm so sorry for your loss, this board has worked hard on the pedestrian issues because Florida has a #1 leads the nation in deaths for pedestrians and injuries. And I know we've worked with Representative Michelle Salzman and others, and hopefully we can provide much more safety for, not just for our students, for any citizen that's trying to, cross the road or walk down a sidewalk. So we appreciate it, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for your words about my son.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Okay, next on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as listed on the agenda?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second the motion?
All, yeah, it's all of them.
I think you'll need to do individual votes.
Do we have it on individual? I'm sorry.
All right. I will amend my motion to make it just for item A, minutes from the June 16th, 2022 regular workshop.
Second the motion?
Okay, when the system's ready, please vote. If there's no discussion. Okay.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, sir. Okay,
I'd
do I
like
have
to-
a motion for item B
I'd like to
of the
make a
minutes?
motion to approve the minutes for the June 21st, 2022 regular meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, please vote. Is it me? Let's see. Oh. Okay, all right. We'll be pros at this pretty soon. Okay. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot.
There we go. Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. All right, moving to administrative appointments. Is there a motion regarding the superintendent's recommendations?
Yes, sir. I will move that we approve the superintendent's recommendation for administrative appointments for this meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, please vote. Paul?
I had to move back. I did.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, all right. Mr. Superintendent, would you like to introduce your appointments?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a number of appointments today. I'm going to go through our appointments today, but we also had two people from last month who weren't able to be at the board meeting that we'll introduce at the end as well.
All right.
So first, I'd like to introduce to you, moving from Coordinator of Budget Analysis and Reporting to the new Director of Budgeting Cost Accounting, Kathy Branch. Kathy, if you'd please come forward.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Superintendent Smith, Chair Adams, and members of the board. I want to start by saying how blessed I consider myself to have been given this opportunity. Ms. McCants was a fantastic director, and she left me some big shoes to fill, but I'm ready for that challenge. I've worked with the Escambia County School District Finance Department for over 16 years, with most of that being spent in the budgeting department. I worked with Mr. Sincere since he became our Assistant Superintendent of Finance, and I would like to take this opportunity to publicly thank him for his leadership and guidance over the last 12 years. Wow, I cannot express enough to you what an awesome group of people that we have in the budgeting department, and I'm excited about becoming their director. My goal for budgeting, with God's guidance, is for us to become as effective, efficient, and accurate as we can be, and I'm looking forward to a great year. Thank you.
Next, we have Sabrina Cunningham. She is moving from the principal position at Kingsfield Elementary to Director of Elementary School Education. She is unable to attend as she had a pressing matter arise, so we hope to recognize her next month. And I am correct that Ms. Cunningham is unable to attend. Okay, thank you. Next, we have Quinn Evans. She is moving from the assistant principal position at Longleaf Elementary to the principal position at Kingsfield Elementary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. For those of you that know me, you know I'm a woman of few words. School board members, Superintendent Smith, and district senior staff, I want to thank you for this tremendous opportunity. I am honored and humbled to accept the principalship at Kingsfield Elementary. I look forward to continuing the wonderful things happening at Kingsfield, working together with faculty, staff, students, families, and the community. I want to thank my husband and my son for being my biggest supporters throughout the years. I also want to thank my mentors through the years that always believed in me, encouraged me, and pushed me to continue the journey to principalship. I think you know who you are somewhere in the back of the room. I hope to make you proud. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Laura Hill Phillips is a dean at Bailey Middle School, moving to an assistant principal position at Ransom Middle School.
Long car rider lines for it. That's my job. That's right.
Now you'll get back to District 1. Congratulations.
Only if she's forced to.
Good evening. I would like to take an opportunity to thank Dr. Smith, Ms. Payne, Mr. Marcanio, and Dr. Roberts, the school board, for the opportunity to serve the students and staff of Escambia County School District. I am blessed to be able to say that in the 20 years I have spent in education, I have developed many friendships and mentorships. So many that I couldn't possibly name them all tonight. Each and every one of them have helped to mold me into the educator and leader I am today. I am thankful to all of those who showed up tonight to show their love and support. In the 10 years I spent at Escambia High School, I had the privilege to learn under some wonderful leaders, many of which became my mentors in this journey, but more importantly, invaluable friends. Ishi Shannon, Aaron Kramer, Jessica Canales, Malia Adams. Thank you for always being available to answer endless questions, dismiss my nerves, and push me to take the leap into educational leadership. The questions are just beginning, so please get ready. I want to thank my Bailey family for helping me grow as an administrator. The discipline divas are a force to be reckoned with. Mr. Tompkins, you are included in the discipline diva team.
Okay.
I will miss our partnership and teamwork. I have learned about the roles and responsibilities of our assistant principals through Ms. Sanders and Ms. Rush. Ms. Penrose, thank you for seeing the potential in me and allowing that to grow. You are truly the example of a leader I would like to emulate. Since I was a young child, standards of excellence have been instilled in me by my parents, especially my mother. Those expectations are the same ones that I pass on as a mother and an educator. However, there is no one that has been a bigger supporter of my career than my husband. He truly believes I can do anything. Thank you for believing me in the moments that I do not believe in myself. Thank you, Steve, Grayson, Branson, and Declan, for the sacrifices you have made and will continue to make to allow me to make a difference. I love you. I thank God daily for leading me to a career where I can make a difference in the lives of our youth today. I pray that He will lead me to make the best decisions for our school and our children. I am looking forward to teaming up with Mr. Marsh and excited to learn under the leadership of another great leader, Dr. Lipnick. Go Tigers.
Cheyenne Novotny is moving from her science teaching position at West Florida High School to the subject area specialist in science.
Congratulations.
Good evening. Thank you so much to the school board, the superintendent, deputy superintendent, and all of the district staff, my family, friends, my husband, who's a teacher and gets it, my kids, and really all of my colleagues over the years in this district. Everyone who works here is so on fire for kids, and it's just an absolute pleasure to be a part of this family. I feel like I'm moving houses, but staying in the same family. Science has always been my passion, and I'm so excited to share that spark with teachers and students. I would be lying to you if I didn't say my heart is heavy for leaving my classroom. I have always been more comfortable with kids, but although I will not be in front of them and they will not be in front of me every day, my mission is to keep them at the center of everything that I do. So thank you for the opportunity.
Candace Tart will be moving from RTI coordinator position at Weiss Elementary to the assistant principal position at Navy Point Elementary.
Congratulations.
Good evening, Superintendent Smith, school board members, Deputy Superintendent Payne, and Assistant Superintendents. I'd like to begin by thanking God for allowing the dreams of my heart to become a reality as I stand before you this evening, and for the trying of my faith, which works patience and has brought about the perfect opportunity at the perfect time, for timing is everything. I am honored to serve as the Assistant Principal of Navy Point Elementary School. I would like to thank my family, my parents, and my sister for their continuous love, support, and prayers. The power of my praying parents is one of the reasons that I stand before you all on today. I would also like to thank my children, Michaela and Jaden, for sharing me with so many students for the past 19 years. Thank you for volunteering at family nights and in classrooms. Thank you for organizing books, Chromebooks, and cutting out breakfast cards. You have been there with me every step of the way. To my church family, thank you for your continuous prayers and support. To my mentors who exemplify the epitome of what a successful school leader should be, I thank you. Ms. Connie Farish, thank you for your continued mentorship and for providing me with my first administrative opportunity as the curriculum coordinator at O.J. Sims Elementary. Dr. Kimberly Thomas, thank you for being an inspiration and providing opportunities for me to grow as a leader. And Ms. Sandra Hill, thank you for your support and always encouraging words. To my sorority sisters, thank you for simply always being there for me. In closing, I am humbly grateful and eager to support my principal, the faculty and staff, students, and serve the community as the assistant principal of Navy Point Elementary School. Thank you.
Thank you.
Allison Watson is moving from the position of Senior Purchasing Agent to the Director of Purchasing and Business Services.
Good evening, Superintendent Smith, Deputy Superintendent Payne, Assistant Superintendents, board members. Thank you for this honor and opportunity. It is another example of God's faithfulness and his blessings. I'm so thankful for my wonderful family and friends here and watching online for their love and support. They are my greatest blessings. I want to thank Barry Boyer, John Dombrowski, and the entire purchasing team for their service and contributions to the department. I want to give a very special thank you to Terry Sincere for giving me opportunities to grow and to show my abilities. Moving forward, my team and I will continue to serve our students, staff, and the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We now would like to recognize La Pierce. She officially moved last month at the meeting, but we are glad she is here today from her assistant principal position at Global Learning Academy to the principal position at Global Learning Academy.
Superintendent, members of the board, and community members. I'm incredibly fortunate to have had many people in my life, family, friends who are like family, colleagues who are like friends and family, who have brought me to this point, and I thank them. Linda Clyatt Wayman, author of Lead Fearlessly, Love Hard, says, "What has to be remembered is there are literally millions of children whose lives depend on schools, and we have a moral imperative to succeed for them every day." This quote has almost haunted me since I first read it in February, and I know that at Global Learning Academy, we have an incredible team from our bus drivers, custodial workers, cafeteria team, front office staff, every teacher, teacher assistant. They show up day in and day out, and many of them have been with Global Learning Academy since the very beginning. Our parents and guardians, who I fondly call our global grown-ups, are diverse individuals who share a common desire for our school to be its very best for their children. We will not let them down. But I saved the best for last, our students. They are precious and the most important part of our team. Even our fifth graders, who think they're half grown, know that I think they're precious. I believe in them. They're caring, they're funny, they're determined, they persevere, and we are going to do great things with them. I'm honored that I get to be a part of their formative education years, and it's not a responsibility I take lightly. We're going to work hard, love hard, and have fun while we do it. Global Learning Academy is united for every student to succeed. We're going to change the world, and I really thank you for the opportunity to do so.
Michael Sullivan has traveled a long way from the state of California to become the principal at Beulah Middle School.
Welcome. I think I'll be seeing a lot of you.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. Fortunately.
We have to be August.
So in case the audience didn't hear, the chairman of the board and I are going to be visiting quite often.
Yes.
So I'll be
Welcome.
thankful for that.
Yeah, welcome to Beulah.
Thank you. Members of the board and Superintendent Smith and others, just, you know, for the audience as well, everything I heard from the other speakers is exactly where my heart is. Thanks be to God that I get to be in Florida, free state. Ms. Evans and I have something in common. I too am a person of few words. And I also believe in children first. That's how I got into education. You know, brought in California, started teaching as a science teacher, so I have a passion for science as well. So we kind of have a wraparound. I do my job like a dad. And some of you know how many kids I have? 10 is correct, of my own, one man, one woman. That's why I lived in the middle of the Mojave Desert, even though I'm a San Diego native. I used to say this many kids so far, now I say 5 grandkids so far. So, you know, I'm just very thankful to be here, to be trusted as an outsider coming in for a principalship. I have a great team. I want to tell you all something very important to everybody in the audience as well. I have never experienced so much graciousness, welcoming, kindness at all levels. The first people I met, other than Dr. Roberts, who's incredible, were the custodial staff at Beulah, who all started giving me information, telling me what's new, what I need to know. Everybody's doing the same throughout every single department that I've come across so far. What a blessing to me. and I am also the person who asks a lot of questions. So please do not be offended. It just means I'm not paying quite perfect attention. I'm a really good listener, and I'm here to serve, and I am thankful to be here. So I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes our administrative appointments. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll move to our next agenda item. We have 2 items for first reading. The first is item A, changes of school board policy, chapter 2, human resources. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the approval of advertising changes to Chapter 2, Human Resources Services.
Should probably gave it a little time. But go ahead and do a second, Paul.
I will second that.
Okay. Do we have to have public hearing on this? No? Okay.
This is just approval for advertising.
Okay. All right. Any discussion on this motion? If not, please vote. And I think what was just pointed out to Dr. Edler, we can use these pens. You've had a hard time hitting that little yes. I don't know if that'll work better for some of us.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. And for the public's knowledge, Ms. Hightower is out of town. That's why she's not here. Okay, so the next item is item C, change of the school board policy, chapter 4, instruction. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the changes of the school board policy in Chapter 4.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? If not, please vote. Wow. Good job, Holly.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Are you able to see that?
Yes, I am, and I'm very appreciative to the team enlarging the font.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, well, this looks like we're doing pretty good. The next item of business is approval of the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to
Items
approve?
requiring
Mr.
public
Adams,
hearing.
there's item number 7.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have one item for a public hearing. After a motion and second, I will call for the public hearing before we take a vote. The item is the emergency suspension of Code 2.47 tobacco-free hiring policy. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Public hearing.
Oh, okay. Is there anybody here to speak to a public hearing on this item? Okay, if not, is there any discussion on it? Ellen, you want to explain what the policy does briefly?
The superintendent has recommended suspending the school district's tobacco-free hiring policy in order to address the difficulties that we're having in filling certain positions. It's a topic that's been discussed for a long time, but I think that we've finally reached, the determination has been made that we finally reached a breaking point, that it is something that we need to look at. And just from a procedural standpoint, the superintendent declared that it was an emergency that needed to be adopted immediately, so that we could have that rule suspended for the next 2 years in time that during this hiring season and the lead up to school starting. Any emergency rule takes effect upon its adoption, but it is only good for 90 days. And that is the reason why if the intention is for this to last for 2 years, that's the reason that we had the preceding item that has been approved for advertising. We're in the process of adopting that as a permanent rule, even though it's only going to last for 2 years, so that when this 90-day rule expires of its own terms, the other one will then come into effect as a properly adopted rule.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Odom, any other discussion? Superintendent, good? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. If no other discussion, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Now I think I'm in the right place. The next item of business is approval of the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any items to be pulled?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, under item 24B, this is a purchase order dealing with a vendor, which I have a son that is an employee of that organization, and so I will not be voting on that motion.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there any other items?
Yes, I'd like to pull item 31C, the sales agreement between the School Board of Escambia County, Florida, and the Town of Century.
Okay. And I have another agenda item, 38A, that will be pulled because we have a speaker on that item. Okay. Any other items to be pulled? Did you have anything, Ms. Odom? Okay. Saw your light on. Sorry. Okay, so please vote on the consent agenda minus the pulled items.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. So now we'll go to the pulled items. Can I have a motion to approve 24B?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the annual agreement renewal and amendment to Beverage Vending Service.
A second? Dr. Adler? You second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? If not, please vote. There it goes.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
With one abstained.
One abstained, yes.
Yes. Okay, so the next item I need a motion on is 1C.
I pulled it, but can I?
No? Oh, can you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I make a motion to approve 31C, the sales agreement between the School Board of Escambia County, Florida, and the Town of Century.
I will second the motion.
Okay. Any discussion?
Just for the board's information, the reason that I requested that this item be pulled was, you may recall that there was some discussion at the workshop about the fact that there had not, due to the passage of time, we were unable to find a resolution where the board had declared this piece of property surplus so that we could sell it. The resolution was just adopted in the consent agenda, and so I had this item pulled so that chronologically the surplus declaration would occur and then the sales agreement would be approved.
Okay. All right, and I thank you for your work in that area. Any other discussion? If not, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, the next item is 38A. I do have a speaker. So at this time, will Rob Bennett come to the podium? So keep it directed to the chair, and let's be nice, okay?
No problem.
All right.
Thank you for having me and letting me talk. This resource officer agreement is for the safety of all students and should be reviewed and applied by the board and staff as responsible citizens and as an example to these same students per the mission statement of the school district on the website down at the bottom, very hard to find. Board council last week talked to you about this SRO agreement being the most negotiated agreement in recent years. I believe it didn't go far enough. Florida Statute 1006.12, which I came in front of you guys in May and talked about, allows you to have this agreement. It defines a resource officer as well as guardianship, guardians, and security officers. The sheriff is supposed to uphold all laws and statutes of the state. It's mentioned twice in this new document. Thank you, Ms. Odom. But why not go all the way and mention the whole statute and protect yourself amongst a whole bunch of things? 1006.121B, school defines a school resource officer, shall abide by district school board policies and shall consult with and coordinate activities through the school principal, but shall be responsible to law enforcement agencies in all matters relating to employment subject to agreements between the district, school board, and the law enforcement agency. This exact document we're talking about, but we ignore this statute in the agreement. Why ignore that agreement? I don't know. This new agreement calls out in Article 2B2 and Article 2C16, but we leave out the whole statute. School board counsel stated that she cannot tell ECO how to train its deputies. However, you're paying for 50% of these people, including training, as it states in the document. You also spend $25,000 for training in Article 4B, specifically for training. How come you can't tell these people to train themselves on this document? Per public record, which I've all copied you on as late as yesterday. They never distributed the document to their staff, to their resource officers, to the administrators over the resource officer program, any other staff, per their public records. Have you guys done that in my public records to the school that I had an issue with? The answer is no. You can leverage their lack of following this agreement to make them negotiate towards this. Negotiate publicly with their lack of good faith in Article 11 of past agreements, because we know for a fact that they did not do it. You also have to admit that you didn't do it at the same time. Who's the checks and balances over this type of agreement? The auditor is financial. The board, I don't know. Risk management seems like it's more for accidents and that type of thing. Operations, contracts, and purchase orders, I'm sure you go through those things to make sure you get what's yours. Okay? It's both the duty of the ESCD and the ESCO per this document.
All right. Thank you, sir. You had to conclude your remarks. Thank you. We appreciate the information.
Can I say one concluding remark?
Do what, sir?
May I say one concluding remark?
We're finished now, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to close public forum. And now we're back to the item, which is 38A. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve item 38A, the agreement between the school district and the sheriff's office for resource officer program.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Now, is there any discussion? Superintendent, you have your light on? Oh, you're good? Okay. You just watching the board? Dr. Edler? Okay. I'm looking at these lights on these mics. That's where I use the key off. Okay. All right. If there's no other comment, then we'll please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, so we'll go to our next agenda item. Now I need a motion on item 24B, annual agreement, renewal, and amendment. No, if I'm, what's that? I'm at 24, did I miss a section? Let's see. We're at 24B, right? No, we're at 41A? Okay, disciplinary reassignments?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the first item is disciplinary reassignments. Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Recommend approval for item A, disciplinary reassignments as noted on the board agenda with details provided in the board backup.
Is there a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation? There's a second.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Lastly, Mr. Superintendent, you got item 43A. What is your recommendation?
42.
42?
42.
I'm sorry. Next, Mr. Superintendent, employee discipline. What is your recommendation for item A?
Recommend approval for items A, B, and C as noted on the board agenda with details provided in the board backup.
Have to do one at a time.
Yeah. So do A.
Recommend approval for item A.
Okay.
As-
Do we have a,
So moved.
okay, a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, please vote. Don't feel bad. I'm right along with you. It's too many things to think about tonight. Let's see.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Mr. Superintendent, item B.
Yes, we recommend approval for item B as noted on the board agenda with details provided in the board backup.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, Mr. Superintendent, item C.
Yes, recommend approval for item C as noted on the board agenda with details provided in the board backup.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion? If not, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, lastly, Mr. Superintendent, item 43A, what is your recommendation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Recommend approval for item A as noted on the board agenda with details provided in the board backup.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Do we have any items for the good of the board?
Yes, sir. I'd like to, because I was not here, I was traveling on Thursday, and it came right at the end. The parent who asked about it, his son being enrolled at West Florida High School, I'd like to ask the superintendent what the resolution was with that.
I would recommend that we not have those discussions in public because that involves confidential student information. This is not the appropriate forum for that.
All right, I'll stop at this point.
Okay. I was also concerned on that matter. Any other discussion for the good of the board? Mr. Superintendent?
I think we're all good.
And I think we successfully,
Yes.
me and the superintendent started failing there at the end, you know, but for the first time using the new system, you know, did I go just about the right speed? Okay. Yes, Mr. Slayton?
Do we have a hiring fair coming up for teachers? He's ready to go home.
We had one, what we hope to have been our last one yesterday.
Okay.
But we'll be prepared if we need to do whatever we need to do, whether it's here in room 160 or at the Hall Center or at the Vernon McDaniel building. We had one yesterday.
So we had some response.
Yes, sir. I think we were able to pick up 2 or 3 more employees yesterday. So we're getting closer. We're still not fully staffed by any stretch of the imagination. I'll stick to the numbers that I gave you last week. If we can get 70 basic allocated units between now and August 2nd, when teachers return, that'll be a miracle. But if we can get it before our students get here, that'll be really, really good, and that's what we'll try to do.
And I can speak to that. We've had our principals strategize what their plan of action would be given the current number of vacancies. I say current, they submitted that a week ago, a week ago Monday. So they've been working on their plans to be able to address the situation as best they can. There are a handful of schools that are struggling much more than others. We've got about 5 schools or so, 5, 6 schools that really are struggling to find applicants and move forward. But we, even since that report, the principals submitted their vacancies also with that action plan. And even since then, we've had some hiring taking place. So they are working hard to fill those vacancies. The difficulty is our pool of applicants is just very small.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for the policy amendment that you made this evening. That was something I wrestled with to bring to you, but it is an effort to try to do anything and everything we can to open up that pool of candidates across the board, because we have vacancies not only in our teaching positions but also in our other district level positions. So thank you for that. We're hopeful that we'll pull in some more applicants.
I think this puts us more in line with Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and all them with the same policy now, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yes.
Okay. And I know the governor and our new commissioner that was talking about the shortages, and they're concerned too. This is a state. It's not just a Escambia County problem. It's a state and national problem. So hopefully we can get those workers, those employees that we need, not only for teachers, but bus drivers, custodial workers, whatever we need. So, yes, sir.
I know that we are outside of the time to do the legislative things, but I would hope that the legislature would look at removing some of the obstacles that they've put in place with retired or retiring people coming back, and maybe even extending drop from 5 to 10 years, so that, you know, people were able to stay longer, and those who get into that 5th year, they sometimes say, you know, I could do 2 more. Or I could do 3 more, and give them that opportunity to open things up. They're especially at the more experienced end, we're losing a lot of knowledge to retirements that people sometimes have said, I would change it if I could, but the drop's telling me I can't. So,
and hopefully we'll get some movement on that this time around. So everybody I talk to, it seems like they all say, yeah, this is a good deal. It's just getting them to do it. So hopefully we will. Yes, Bill?
Mr. Leonard, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Leonard, what are we up to in drops? 7 years or 8 years? What? Just yeah.
Classroom teachers, as defined by Florida statute, can go up to 8 years.
okay.
Everyone else is stopped at 5. I did, as you had requested, the superintendent directed me. I have made contact with one of our local legislators. I think probably after the primary, I may have a little more time to be able to spend with that one legislator to work on the retirement language. I have spoken to Mrs. Odom, so we will be prepared before we have that meeting.
Okay, good deal. Please keep me in the loop on it, if you will.
Superintendent, I appreciate you and their staff taking the lead, because undoubtedly the legislators are not going to take the lead. So we need to take the lead on fixing that problem any way we can. And in my conversation with one of the legislators, they don't understand what to say. So Keith, I appreciate you stepping forward, and anybody that can help it, and Ms. Odom, thank you. It's just important that we don't wait any longer.
Right. Yeah.
We've got to move forward with this. Can I just ask, how bad is this on administrators? I think that's what you were saying. It's 5 and out, right?
Administrators must go into drop at either 30 years of service or 57 years of age, whichever one comes last. So that tells you right there. You can look around in this room or I don't know if you can look and tell that I'm over 57, but 57 years of service or has 30 years of service must go into drop if they want to take advantage of it. Drop is a pretty good thing economically, so most people are going to take advantage of it. But you also know that 5 years after you turn 57 or have 30 years of service, once you enter drop, you will exit drop at the end of 5 years. You can get 5 years in a few months, depending upon when your drop date is for that 5th year. You could end up with 5 years and 8 or 9 months, but the last day of school you will exit. We're gonna do everything we can to address all of that with at least one of the local legislators. If not, we'll talk to more than one. Worst thing the legislator to do is tell us no, and we've heard that before. But we're fairly stubborn people. We'll keep moving, doing what we can.
Okay. And I want to say for our local delegation, we get really good support. So I appreciate them, and I know they'll step in as soon as we let them know exactly how we need to, and what they need is that strike language in the new language, so if we can give that to them, I know one of them, she's ready to move on it. So, Mr. Superintendent?
Yeah, I just want to thank Mr. Leonard for that effort, and I too appreciate our local delegation. They're very supportive of our educational initiatives here in the district, and they represent us. We're a very diverse state, large population, so there's a lot of moving pieces to all that legislation. But to your point, Mr. Slayton, I do agree that it's very important for the educational community to share the story and to share exactly what is happening. Read a recent piece where it was reported between 2008 and 2016. Now, I haven't checked the validity of this, but this was in the report or the article, that there was a 23% drop in the number of students enrolling in state university college of education teacher prep programs. 23% drop in those 8 years, 2008 to 2016. So that tells you this has been slowly coming about. It's not a 1 month problem type of thing. This has been slowly ebbing for some time now.
Sure has. Dr. Edler?
Yes. It just occurred to me that you may not be aware of that at UWF in professional studies, that they now have a college of education. I don't know what's involved in that, but that may be one of the things that you may want to look into to see what it has to offer, and would it be any benefit to the school system in terms of teachers and that.
So Dr. Edler and I didn't speak about this before the meeting, but thank you, because that's a nice segue into the fact that we actually had a meeting with Dr. Karen Evans today from UWF, talking about how we can build the teacher pipeline and really reach out and engage our young people in a potential teaching career. So We had a quite a helpful conversation. UWF has been great to work with, very supportive, very eager to help us out. And we're grateful for that. And so there are some ideas, and we hope we can make some forward movement as early as the second part of this year, and possibly getting some dual enrollment in educational classes is one of the ideas that we discussed. So there's some potential, but we need to be purposeful, and we need to be focused on really trying to reach more of our young people to entertain the notion of going into teaching.
Okay. Sounds great. Any other comments? If not, appreciate staff hanging in there. Thank you for all you do. With that, we are adjourned.